tell you about some do's and don'ts if you get stopped for DUI. One of the main things is be polite and cooperative with the officer. Provide him with your license and registration and answer any questions that pertain to your license or registration politely. Don't use vulgar language and don't be a jerk to the officer. That will get you nowhere. Another thing that you need to realize is that you may be on camera. There's a good chance that you will be on camera when you're stopped for a DUI. And given that, realize that a judge, and most especially a jury, may someday see that videotape of your DUI stop. So again, be cooperative during the stop and realize that you'd be on camera, and don't use foul language, don't act silly, don't act like a drunk person would act. If you're stopped, do not take the field sobriety tests. There's no reason to take those. Your license will not be suspended for refusing to take those tests, and taking them can only hurt you. The officer writes down what he wants to write down, and the circumstances surrounding that make it very hard to perform those tests. Very likely you'll be on the side of an interstate in a parking lot at night with lights flashing in your eyes. Another thing that you should do when you get home after you've been arrested and gotten out of jail is write down everything about that night. Sometimes your memory will fail you down the road, so make sure to make a detailed written diagram or something to remind you of what happened the night before, so you can share that with your attorney down the road and actually explain what went on at that stop. Now that we've talked about refusing the field sobriety test, we'll talk about refusing the chemical breath test, or the blow. It is something that is a little more complicated. In the state of Florida, we have the implied consent law. And what that means is, when you receive your driver's license, you are consenting to either a blood, breath, or urine test to determine if there is any alcohol or drugs in your system. And basically, by refusing to take those tests, as opposed to the field sobriety test, your license can be suspended for up to a year. So that's something to take into consideration. However, if you have been drinking, it is not wise to take the breath test. If you've had no drinks at all, then by all means, go ahead and take the test, because there will be no alcohol in your system. The biggest do is, once you're released from jail, is to contact an attorney immediately. An attorney needs to be contacted immediately because, in addition to the criminal case, there is an administrative proceeding that is also going on, and that will involve your license and the suspension of your license. Something needs to be done by an attorney within 10 days to prevent the suspension of your license and to help you get through these trying times with a driver's license. Here at Roy and Amico Law Group, we do DUIs and we do the administrative hearings. So we need to be contacted within those 10 days. If you can contact us within those 10 days, we can start the administrative review process for you and help mitigate some of the losses that you may experience during this trying time, which would be your driver's license. We can help assist you in obtaining a hardship license so you can still get to and from work.
Here's the thing with DUIs. Most people have had little to no contact with the criminal justice system except for a DUI. It's one of the only crimes that spans gender, race, religion, culture. It's one of the only crimes that spans all aspects of society. The point is that not only are we going to help you fight the criminal case, but we are going to help you put yourself into a position where you have as little damage as possible to the rest of your life. Meaning your work, your children, your family life, all these things come into play when you're charged with a criminal offense. All these things come into play when you don't have a license and you can't drive. There's not an extensive public transit system in Central Florida. People need driver's licenses. We will put you in a position to potentially have your license or have a restricted license where you will still be able to do your daily tasks, going to work, going to church, going to the hospital, so that you will be able to move on with your life and it won't completely be